Hello, I want to talk about a very nice homegrown activity that your dog can do, and it involves a licking mat. Now, it's not a licky mat, it's a licking mat, and I like to call them licking mats because they are silicone-based mats that you can buy online, and they're basically used for draining your cutlery and your glasses and your dishware, but you can actually use these as a substitute activity for your dog to give them a nice tasty snack and keep them mentally stimulated at the same time. Now, why do I prefer these to the trademark mat? Because they're soft and they don't induce as much frustration as I have seen with licky mats, because the wells are quite deep, and sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating for our dogs to try to get those last morsels out of the bottom of the squares. Also, nothing is chew-proof, and so you can find that if your dog likes chewing, frustration can induce them to want to chew and break the mat in order to get to the last morsel. So you should never leave your dog unsupervised, contrary to what they say on the website, with any toy, especially if your dog likes to chew. So I want to play the first video here. So this is the first mat that Marco's had, and you've seen that in videos before. Now this just has a basic pattern, and you can see the ridges there. This is a different one, it's a bit bigger, and I got this one for Morty because he's a bigger dog, and similar grooves and ridges, similar pattern. These two are interesting because they have a pyramid pattern on one side, as you can see here with the green, so that creates a level of difficulty, and you can see the red one looks more like a waffle pattern. And so on the flip side, if I turn that green side over, you'd see a waffle pattern on the other side. So this was going to be an interesting experiment to see what patterns were promoting a truly rewarding experience for both of the dogs. Now this is a herringbone pattern, as you can see there, and I'm going to show you what it's like just comparing those patterns with respect to what foods you can put on there, which go on a lot easier depending on the pattern. So here, this is Marco's one, his first one, and you can see comparing those two patterns, that's really difficult for that piece of fish to be pressed into that pattern there. So of course the light blue one was much better for this purpose here, and Marco's just enjoying his now, and we'll see Morty have his, and there he is enjoying that. And so that actually disappeared quite quickly compared to Marco's pattern here, as you can see on his licking mat. Now here we go with a different type of food, so some mashed sweet potato, and I'm going to sprinkle some peas over the top of that, and that's on the pyramid side up. So we're going to see what that's like for the boys when they're eating that snack. And so as we can see here, Marco's using his incisors just to get that food up. Morty's licking the food off quite nicely there, which is really great. And let's have a little look further. And so that's actually taking a lot longer for the boys to eat their snacks there on those mats, on that pattern. Now let's look at the herringbone one. Now I quite like this pattern actually. It was really easy to spread, and as you can see, it's filling up the grooves nicely. It's also a really good size mat. It's around about maybe 25 centimetres by 35 centimetres. And Marco's trying out some mashed potato on this one. And you can see that it doesn't promote it doesn't promote as much chewing, which is nice. Using his incisors, but it really does promote licking and getting his tongue right into those grooves there to get that mashed potato out, which is really nice. So I kind of preferred that one. I kind of preferred that pattern there, and as you can see, that's taking Marco a little bit longer to get through that nice snack that he's got there. Now I wanted to also just briefly highlight once again, the chewing versus the licking action. Now, licking is really good for dogs because, of course, if you have a dog that likes to groom, then you can redirect that grooming behaviour into something more productive. That's also going to help promote a sense of well-being and calm for your dog in everyday situations. These are not a substitute for any medications or any therapeutic approach that is required on a medical basis. These are simply used as an adjunct and also just used in everyday situations to help keep your dog mentally stimulated. Now, they do have great health benefits. As I mentioned, the licking promotes lowering of the stress hormone cortisol, which is really nice. And also, you can see there that the grooves actually help to the grooves and the patterns in the mats help to clean the tongue when the dogs lick that raised surface. So that's really good in cleaning the tongue, but also licking does promote saliva production, and so that also has a byproduct of helping promote a nice environment just generally for the oral cavity and the gums and the teeth. So it's good from that health point of view. So we're just going to look at the chewing versus the licking action. So you can see that Morty here is actually sort of nibbling at the top there of that pyramid pattern, but that pattern really does promote licking behaviour, which is really nice. Now, when we're talking about supervising, I touched on that earlier. So here we can see that this is the waffle side. So you can see these wells are a little bit deeper. So Morty's actually taken that away to go and sit down, and you can see he's having a little bit of a chew, but he's still licking the food out of those wells there. And so this probably isn't the best pattern, as I mentioned, because it does sort of mean that we can get a little bit more frustration happening, especially when the dogs can't get the food right out of the crevices of that waffle pattern. And you can see here that Morty's having a little bit of a chew there, but he's still licking predominantly, which is really good. But this is probably something I don't want to promote, him actually chewing on that, because we don't want anything untoward happening there. So, but I'm just going to give him a little bit more time, and then I'm going to swap that item with something of a higher value for him. So I can clean the mats. Now, talking about easy cleaning, these are dishwasher proof, which is really great. And as you can see here, just pop them in the dishwasher. It's no big deal. And the only thing is, when you're using the waffle pattern and compared to the pyramid pattern, the waffle pattern, of course, will actually get water logged in it, because if you're wanting to clean that side, that's going to fill up with water. So when you're emptying the dishwasher, you're going to have a little bit of water spillage there, but that's fine. So you can see that these are really great homegrown products, don't cost a lot of money. You can get them online, and you can use them with a different range of foods, but just be aware of the size, the pattern, and also what food you're wanting to put onto the mat. But overall, this is a really nice option for your dog to keep them mentally stimulated because of those health benefits that I mentioned, but also that sense of calm and that sense of well-being, and redirecting behaviours that could actually turn into something a little bit more persistent, if you like, with respect to grooming. We can redirect that grooming behaviour to something that's a lot more productive from your dog's point of view. Now, you can check out the links in the description below. I've included the examples of the mats that I've used in the videos, and once again, they're a great way to keep your dog mentally stimulated, and a good way to actually avoid just dumping biscuits in a food bowl once or twice a day. From your dog's point of view, they're going to appreciate that because they're going to be able to perform behaviours that they would like to do as well, and they're going to be able to be rewarded for that because it's a self-rewarding activity because you're providing food in a novel way for them. So I hope you enjoyed the videos, and we'll talk again soon.